So we finally have it. The best budget tablet is here, I believe. It's been a while and I haven't looked at tablets for a long time, but I'm back to my roots here, taking a look at the Alldocube iPlay 20. This particular tablet sells for only 121 US dollars, which is about 105 euros. And what are we getting? We're actually getting quite a lot when you look at this particular model here. It has a fully laminated Gorilla Glass covered Full HD screen. The resolution is 1920 by 1200. It's IPS, of course. But what else do we have? Well, 4G support with LTE band 20 and 28. Dual SIM, GPS, FM radios here, and it is running Android 10. And a fairly decent package with actually some okay sounding loudspeakers. So in this in-depth review, we'll take a look at why I think this, for the money that is the best budget Android 10 tablet you can currently buy. So it comes in this no-frills package here, black box, and this is where they cut the corners, of course, on their packaging costs. Not that most people mind, they're passing the savings on to us. And it's just in a wrap, as you can see. There is a bit of padding either side there to help protect it in transit. So under here, we will find our accessories. So there's not really a lot included. We've got the USB cable, which is USB to Type-C, our charger, which is 5 volts, 2.1 amps, and it's very slow to charge this. It's one of the cons, so it will take about 3 hours almost to fully charge the 6,000 milliamp hour battery. There is a guide right here, and floating about is a SIM tray tool. So the build of this one is a plastic frame around the outside with this alloy on the rear of it here, you can see. So we've got a 3 megapixel camera here. Now, most rear cameras on these tablets, especially at this price range, are utter rubbish. And this one is no exception. I am sure of it. I will be testing it out though. So power button and volume up and down. Now, these are made out of plastic, and shaking it, there's no rattling or anything like this. So this alloy here has a matte finish to it. And there's the SIM tray right up here. So this will actually take 2 SIMs or a nano SIM and micro SD card support, which is great considering the price. It's also got LTE band 20 and band 28 that we often miss with the Chinese tablets. But this Unisoc, the chip in this one, the octa-core, does actually have that support there, which is great. So up front here, bezels, you can see left and right, aren't bad. Top and bottom, yes, they're about a thumbnail kind of width there. And what about the width of the tablet? You can see right here, I've just measured it, so 8.3 millimeters. Up front is a 2 megapixel camera right here, and there's a little cutout for a microphone. It does come with a pre-applied screen protector. So if that is missing when you buy it, it's highly likely you've just been sent a returned unit or someone's actually used it. So just take this off now, of course. Down the bottom of the tablet, you'll find 2 loudspeakers here. They're actually okay, the volume of them. They're not high quality loudspeakers. There'll be a sample later on in this review, and our Type-C port here for data and charging. Sadly, there is no HDMI out on this. Then up top right here, we've got a 3.5 millimeter out headphone jack with okay average kind of quality. It does, of course, support microphones, so you can place voice calls with it. Now, we have a very good screen in this. I did not expect it to be. Number one, it is covered with Gorilla Glass, so there's no ugly gap between the touch digitizer and the glass. It is optically bonded. It's 16 by 10 aspect ratio. The resolution is 1920 by 1200, and we have a very good maximum brightness. So this is a pleasant surprise to see that it can push almost 200 nits on the maximum setting. And there is one little bug though with the slider here for the brightness. So down this area on the lowest brightness setting, which is very dim, which is great for night use, it doesn't work for the first quarter of the slider until about here. You can see it's starting to then change. So that's just one very minor little bug I have encountered with my time using it. So this screen's touch is very good. On the edges, touch response is great. I'm not having any zones or areas with missed touches or not actually working. And looking at the gamma, this was a surprise to me here. So normally the gamma would be miles off for such a budget tablet. And it is actually, looking at it right here, spot on 2.2 for the gamma, but that's on the standard settings. So in the settings menu, there is an option under display here for colors and contrast to tweak the white balance and then our contrast itself. So I keep it on standard, which does look the best to my eyes. So a very decent panel. Now there's a little tiny bit of leakage or dimmer pixels on the edges, but it's very hard to see this and I think it's not going to bother anyone really. It's only when you're looking at a constant white or bright image you may notice a little bit, but for the price, I mean, this screen is really good. This tablet comes with Android 10 and it has a May security patch level. Now, don't ever expect to see an update from Alldocube. This is what happens with these cheaper brands is they push out these cheaper tablets, but then they don't offer the support with ROM updates at all. So it will never get Android 11 unless someone on XDA, they will come up with maybe putting a stock ROM on this. So it is Android, stock Android, very little bloatware. It's just Google apps you get with this one. Now there is an apps drawer here too, and this performance is quite smooth. It's actually performing better than I expected. The 4 GB of RAM is helping. Recent app tabs here too, very smooth with this. I have noticed that sometimes we'll get a little bit of slowdown. Now I've got Nova Launcher installed here. Why? Because you can get rid of this ugly widget right here. So down here they've got the Google search and you can't actually get rid of this. This is really silly to have this in there. I had the same problem with the launcher that they had with the Alldocube Neo X. So performance wise, very good. We're jumping now to just a couple of little screenshots that I've taken for some additional information. So free space, you get about 55 GB. Remember, there is micro SD card support with this one, which is great. And that's the apps to start with that we get minus Mobile Legends there. Okay, I installed that when I took this screenshot here. So it's just the Google bloat that we have on here, but there's no, TikTok or Facebook or anything like that, which is good. So we don't have a Widevine level 1 cert, so that means Netflix is going to be in just standard definition, Amazon Prime Video. In fact, Netflix, you cannot actually get it from the Google Play Store at the time of this video. You need to get it, just the APK file, and then install it that way to get it. Internal storage speeds, quite slow, so this is one area that, okay, they've had to save a bit of money, cutting the costs, not particularly fast. Does it bottleneck the system? It doesn't actually feel like it does, really. I'm not seeing any slowdown from the storage that when you install things, okay, it might take a little bit longer, slow random writes there with this one. So that's one area, of course, that is a bit of a weakness. A little bit like the performance here. So, Antutu, this is a low score. Look at the weak area here is our GPU. So you do notice this in gaming, and there will be a segment on the gaming performance later on. You can play all the games out there. You just need to lower settings and be prepared for the additional little stutter here and there with the GPU's performance being quite low. Geekbench 5 score, again, low-end tablet, to be expected. And the wireless performance isn't actually too bad. So this is connected up to wireless N here, 5 GHz band, and I'm able to push average top speeds of about 350 megabits per second. Downstairs, well away from my router, I'm still getting a reasonable kind of speed here and about 3 bars of signal strength, which isn't too bad. Now, the battery life, it's okay. So you can get about 9 hours of screen on time, possibly 10 hours, depending on what you're doing. So if it's something not so demanding and you're on wireless, up to the 10 hours there. So it's kind of an average result here. Now, charge time is very slow for this tablet. It's about like 3 hours almost to fully charge the 6,000 milliamp hour battery. It does have GPS on board, so this is good. And we get an accuracy that hovers about 3 to 1 meter sometimes and 6 meters. So it's not particularly good GPS performance. I noticed that when I was looking at Google Maps, it was quite a bit off. Well, I knew where I was on the street, but it kind of put me in the middle of where a house is. So not amazing GPS, but it's still good that it's there. Now, when you are watching YouTube content, which is 16:9, or any content that is 16:9, you'll get the borders top and bottom here. This is one of my own videos. So it's running on the YouTube setting here at 1080p, 60 frames per second, and it is flawless. No stutter, no lag, no problems. I'll just skip back here a little bit just to show you how it performs. It's a matter of seconds, and it's running fine. So this is running better than I imagined it would with this particular chipset. Now, so we do have the SIM cards in there, and we've got the phone dialer, so you can place voice calls. I recommend using a headset for this. Otherwise, you have to use the microphone that's here and then the loudspeakers in a basic speakerphone mode. Call quality is okay. I've noticed that my signal reception and strength, you'll see just at the top here, 4G, I'm getting where I am based normally between about 3 and 4 bars of signal strength, which is basically what my mobile phones are getting as well. So that is good. Now the quality out of the 3.5mm headphone jack, it is loud. Is it the highest quality I've heard? Definitely not. I would rate it as average, but it's not actually too bad for the price. The same goes for the loudspeakers here.
these loudspeakers actually have a good volume. They have a hint of bass, and they don't sound too bad considering the price of this tablet. But here's a sample of them at 100% volume. So this PDF reader here that I'm using with my test file is Google Play Books, okay? And this is quite fast. The performance of Google Play Books, I think, has improved. And this hardware definitely seems so much quicker than I thought it might be. So when you double tap, you zoom in and can see all those details here. So when I record on camera, you may see these funny kind of lines going this way. It's just the way the screen is coming through. In person, you don't actually see this. It does look very good for PDF files. Now, you have the option, of course, to turn this all black and white through Google Play Books, and we do have that eye care mode as well, if you're worried about your eyesight late at night or whatever. So this, even when I skip ahead, the Unisoc 8-core chip is catching up way better than I thought it would, especially considering that Antutu score. And in portrait for eBooks, for example, here, you can see the screen is looking pretty good here. So the 1200p resolution at 10.1 inches means that you cannot actually see at normal reading distances any pixels. It's when you look really close, you will then pick up on those pixels. So great for eBooks and PDF files. As I pointed out, the GPU in this particular tablet is its weakness. That's its Achilles heel. So when you game, depending on the title, it will have very smooth, playable frame rate, or like this one, Call of Duty, on the high frame rate setting and lowest possible visual settings, will now and then give us a bit of a stutter here and there. So it's not super smooth. It's still playable, of course. You can get kills, but it just won't have that performance that I think a lot of people would want, especially with more demanding games. Now, if you're playing a game that is a lot lighter, a light engine, for example, like Mobile Legends, perfectly fine, smooth, nice and playable, no problems there. So I wouldn't get this tablet if you expect to have super smooth, nice FPS the whole time gaming, because you will be disappointed with this one. So here's the front-facing camera, and the audio you're listening to is that single mono mic on the front. So for Skype video calls or maybe WhatsApp calls and things like that, and this is okay quality. Your phone will have a much, much better camera than these ones. I won't even bother showing you the rare 3-megapixel camera. It is terrible. It's poor. And similar kind of quality recording video as well here. But I think this is a passable just. And I mean, what more can you expect for the price of this tablet here? Often webcams are overlooked, and at least we do have one in this tablet.
So there we go. I think for the price that this really cannot be beaten. It's not perfect, nor would you expect it to be for what it is selling for. So a cheap tablet, but it really does offer so much. A fully laminated, actually decent IPS panel with good brightness, good gamma, and good touch response. That is really unheard of normally for the budget tablets. Running Android 10, dual SIM support with LTE band 20, 28, and it even has GPS, although, well, the GPS is not very good. It's terrible, really. Your phone will have much better GPS than this tablet, but we've got that option, like the option of FM radio as well. The cameras are not wonderful. The speakers actually turn out to be a surprise here because they are loud. They have a tiny hint of bass and better than what we normally get in this category of cheap tablet. So fantastic value for money here from Alldocube, selling for the 120 US dollars, about 105 euros. I don't think it can be beaten. I think this so far has to be one of the best. Now, it does come with that con. The GPU is rather weak and the chipset, so it's not a super powerful tablet. So if you do game a lot, I'll say it again, this is not really for people into demanding games, especially those, well, FPS ones like, say, PUBG and Call of Duty that I tested. It is playable. You can get your kills, but now and then you get a major stutter or lag that could end up costing you the game. Lighter titles like Mobile Legends will be playable there, and at least that is good to see. So for eBooks, light tasks, everything like that, it really is a good tablet and a pleasant surprise and great to see. And I'm able to cover a tablet like this that's not a huge lemon, which often they are. That's why I've been avoiding a lot of the real cheap tablets until now. So I'll be back with another tablet review coming up in the channel. It's a more premium model. It's the Huawei MatePad Pro. That'll be probably in about a week's time. So I hope to catch you back then, and thank you so much for watching this in-depth review. Now you know everything that is to know about the iPlay 20 here.